What a headshot! What a head!
How's it, guys? This is Dayvy, FPL, and welcome back to the Fantasy Premier League video here on my channel. Now in this video, I'll be taking you through my very own team selection for the upcoming Game Week 16. So thankfully, we've had the usual week break between Game Week 15 and Game Week 16, as we are approaching that festive period, which is going to be absolutely insane. So if you guys are looking forward to Game Week 16 and Game Week 15 wasn't that bad of a game week, I'll be running through my review now that that Monday night fixture has concluded. So the rank update, as well as how the team is currently shaping up, will be covered before we jump into the transfer plan. Now in terms of that transfer plan, I've got 3 free transfers, but I've got a lot of kind of options, so I'll be running through them and going over my final team at the end of the video. So that's something you guys are interested in. Sit back, relax, and let's get straight into it. So Game Week 15 did end on Monday evening, and that game, Wolves vs West Ham, didn't go according to plan. We did get a few points from it though. Now thanks to the auto subs as well as those 2 respective Aït-Nouri and Cunha points, I rose in rank to 41k. So a slight drop off thanks to those auto subs from the transfer plan, but we did end Game Week 15 with 67 points. In the comments down below, how did your game week go? Was it a great week, a terrible week? Won't lie to you, didn't have many kind of high scorers, so pretty happy with the green arrow. Now you guys can see in terms of the transfer plan for the upcoming Game Week 16, 3 free transfers but 0.0 in the bank, so we are technically broke. Let's just do a quick recap of how the team performed starting off on the bench, and as you guys will know, West Ham did take on Wolves, and that happened on Monday evening. So we will be getting those Aït-Nouri points off for the 4-pointer, as he racked up an assist but obviously no clean sheet. Then Fabianski with the 2-pointer, just happy that Fleck and our starting goalkeeper outperformed him, and that was thanks to that lovely assist he got in that fixture. But the biggest news comes from our bench was probably the fact that Everton vs Liverpool was postponed, and that's why you can see Salah on my bench. No, I didn't bench him. It was actually hard to do even though he didn't have a fixture. Surprised he didn't find a way to somehow get a double-digit return with the way he's been performing. The last player, Greaves, a little bit of an unusual one, was actually in the warm-up squad but wasn't in the final team. But as you guys know, the manager never likes to have a centre-back on the bench. So don't you know how to approach this if he is in the actual team or if he was dropped, so just one to keep an eye on. Now, I've already spoken about Flecken with that lovely assist, the magical assist. Can't keep a clean sheet but it's getting attacking returns. Simply outrageous. I'm just happy though that he got the 3-pointer, as obviously I did bench Fabianski and was a bit worried come Monday evening. Now Aït-Nouri comes off the bench because Gabriel once again missed out, wasn't even in the squad. Now last night in the Champions League also didn't feature, so I think he might actually be injured. Doubt that Arteta gives us anything tomorrow in the press conference, but I'm hoping for some training pictures. It's becoming a little bit annoying that he keeps on not featuring. This week wasn't the worst as Aït-Nouri got 4 points, but Arsenal have some good fixtures and I would like some defensive coverage. Then Guardiola got the 1-pointer as well as Dalot. Both these players super disappointing. The fixture looked good on paper, but they conceded quite a few. Now both these 2 assets unfortunately are on the transfer out list because of bad performance, and I'll speak about that a little bit later on. Now in our midfield department, without Salah, at least Mbeumo stepped up with 13 points. I was so close to selling him for Rodgers. So definitely a potential goodbye present in terms of 13 points, but I'll definitely take it from one of the best assets historically. Unfortunately, the form just hasn't been there and the fixtures aren't looking great, but was the saviour for Game Week 15. Now Saka also ended up blanking, which was quite disappointing. Only the 2-pointer was a little bit of a tougher game against Fulham. Semenyo also had a really respectable game. His rating was super high, just can't kind of convert it into FPL points. Did get the pre-assist for the second goal, which I guess means nothing. Just hope that he can kick on in terms of FPL points in the future game weeks. The main performer though of our midfield department was definitely Cole Palmer with an 18-pointer, doubled to 36. So I mentioned that I had no kind of high performers this week. It was literally Palmer, Mbeumo, and a measly 4 points from Aït-Nouri. And yes, that was enough for a green arrow. So Palmer a little bit lucky to get 2 penalties, but he's so good at converting them, also racking up an assist for an 18-pointer. Just quite happy that I captained him. I mean, imagine if Salah actually featured and blanked, and then Palmer got so many points. So the postponement might have been a little bit fortuitous. Now the biggest disappointment of the game week was going to be our front line. Cunha, Jackson and João Pedro all ended up blanking, and honestly I needed Jackson to at least match Isaac this week. That didn't happen. Isaac gets a goal plus a few bonus points, and Jackson was crying after being subbed off because of his bad performance. So quite disappointed there. As you guys know, Isaac is pretty highly owned, and Cunha and João Pedro, although they come in quite cheaper, was expecting more from them. Wolves at the moment simply look like a terrible squad. Seems like internal fighting is happening as well amongst the team, which doesn't bode well for future performances. But yes, very disappointing. Our front line was hoping for more, but it's the hope that kills you. At least we got a green arrow to 41k though. But as mentioned in the comments down below, how did your game week go? Was it a great week, a good week, or a terrible week? This is a safe space for both red and green arrows. Now before we go on to the transfer plan, as always I want to give you guys the context of my current team selection with no transfers made. Now there is a world that I actually do roll the transfer. I don't think the squad looks that bad. A lot of home fixtures, but also a few injuries. Now the bench this week kind of picks itself. We've got Flecken and Mbumo against Chelsea away. Could see them scoring, but the rest of my starting 11 has better fixtures. Greaves as well, don't exactly know if he's going to feature, and Delort has Man City, and definitely going to be benching him. Now the goalkeeper debate this week might be a little bit 50-50, currently Flecken versus Chelsea or Fabianski against Bournemouth away, and obviously I own both these two teams' attacks. Just kind of playing the odds here, I do have two Chelsea attackers, so starting Fabianski. Don't expect clean sheets from either of them though. Then our backline, the biggest story is going to be around Gabriel. If he doesn't feature yet again, there could be a debate about taking him out. With Everton at home, I'm going to keep him and hope that he just starts. I don't think Arteta gives us anything in the press conference coming up tomorrow, but hoping for some training pictures, as if he is training, I think that he'll play. Definitely a big miss though if he doesn't feature, as Everton at home is basically locked in clean sheet. Then Guardiola up next in the Manchester derby. Can't see him keeping a clean sheet with the current form, but does offer some attacking threat. Now if I do choose to do a defender transfer, Guardiola will probably be benched, or might be on the way out if Gabriel's not fit. So not super confident, but could always see a chance of points here, and the SpreadX data is giving them quite a high chance of a clean sheet. Then finally Aït-Nouri, Ipswich at home, I have to play him, and my bench options don't have better fixtures. Now I'm hoping for a clean sheet. Is it likely? Probably not, but against a new promoted opposition, you have to play the odds. Also a decent chance of the SpreadX data giving Wolves a clean sheet, and Aït-Nouri carries a massive attacking threat. Then in the midfield department, Mo Salah is back in the squad, however, don't have the Kamsi armband on him. It's on another midfield at the moment. Now super close between them though, almost a 50-50. I just back Fulham as they have been a pretty respectable defense. The biggest hindrance though to them is that Bassi is going to be suspended, and apparently Anderson might not be fit as well. So yes, they might be without their starting centre backs, which could be insane, especially against this Liverpool attack. So let's see where I do land in the deadline stream. I might be back on Salah. As a Liverpool fan, don't really want to watch this one without him. Now Saka against Everton, also a very strong game, high projected goals. That Everton defense has improved though over the last few weeks. Now yes, they have conceded 4 to United, so imagine what could be potential against Arsenal, but Everton might be better at defending those set pieces. So let's see what happens. Unfortunately not really a Kamsi consideration in my opinion, but definitely happy to hold him. The Kamsi armband this week will be on Cold Palmer once again. My thinking behind this is I do own Nicholas Jackson up front, so I'm going to play the odds and hope that Brentford concede quite a few. Very 50-50 though. I guess I could also play the odds because of the double up. I'm kind of covering Cole Palmer's captaincy. So let's see where I land come game week 16's deadline. Very strong fixture though. Brentford haven't won away from home and are conceding a ton of goals. I would know as a Flecken owner. Now Chelsea do play tonight in the Conference League, however Palmer won't feature. I think we've already had the league training squad as of yesterday. So should be fully rested for the week, and therefore that could lead to a few goals. Definitely hoping so if he's my captain. Now the final player, Semenyo, has West Ham at home, also a very strong fixture. As a Fabianski owner, they're also conceding quite a few goals. Now I'm just hoping that good performances finally translate into FPL points, as he's playing decently, just not getting those returns. Definitely happy though to play him over someone like an Mbumo. Definitely has the better fixture. Now let's hope our front three actually delivers some points this week, starting off with Cunha against Ipswich at home. Very strong fixture and it's a newly promoted team. Now as mentioned though, the Wolves team is looking a little bit worse for wears. Apparently the new manager is on the verge of being sacked. I'm just hoping for some Cunha returns in this one though. Definitely worth keeping him potentially unless I do make an upgrade. I'll talk about that shortly in the transfer plan. Now Nicholas Jackson against Brentford, definitely a week I need him to step up, as Isaac has a great fixture against Leicester. So probably give the edge to Isaac in this one, it's definitely the better fixture, but Brentford have also been conceding. In terms of the SpreadX data, Chelsea the highest projected goal scorers in Game Week 16, I just hope Jackson gets a share of it. Then finally we have João Pedro against Crystal Palace at home, a really respectable game. However, recently Crystal Palace have been improving their numbers. I still back him though, comes in quite cheap, I'm hoping he proves good value. Haven't had any returns since bringing him in. João Pedro does wrap up our front line though, and therefore the starting 11 is going to look like it is on screen, with no transfers made. As mentioned, there could be a world where I actually don't use a transfer, but I think our defense needs some improvements. You guys can comment down below what 3 moves you guys would make, even if it's just 2 or 1 move, to hopefully improve my squad. Now the transfer plan this week is going to be pretty kind of complex. The only reason for this is that with 3 free transfers, there's unfortunately a ton of options. And the biggest move that I'm probably going to do is, unfortunately I need some funds. I've got 0.0 in the bank and I want to make some upgrades. So Mbeumo will be the player departing. I know he got a 13-pointer last week, but I consider it a goodbye present. The form hasn't been great, and unfortunately the fixtures aren't as well. Now the 2 replacements I've penciled in are going to be Rodgers as well as Enzo. Both come in around that 5 million mark. Now Enzo has the advantage of being a bit cheaper, gives me an extra 0.4 to spend, but I do consider Rodgers to be the better FPL asset. Now yes, he is on 4 yellow cards, but I think that that's just 1 game suspended, and with some of these upcoming fixtures, probably will be benching him most game weeks. Enzo on the other hand might not be as nailed, but is providing good value for money, 4 90 minutes in a row and some attacking returns. You guys can see the Chelsea Sea of Green as well, great fixtures, and with some future moves in mind, I might actually be going for Enzo at the cheaper price tag. Fortunately though, with most of my transfer plans I could afford either of these options, and therefore I just might go for Rodgers as he's proving better FPL value. You guys can let me know in the comments down below. I know Enzo has been super popular this week, and that's why he's risen in price to 5.0 million. But as mentioned, this move is probably the most nailed move of the game week, as it gives me a lot of funds to do some upgrades. Now the first move I want to talk about is probably going to be happening as well, and that's going to be a defensive upgrade, and if I do this, I probably will be benching Guardiola. So the player to leave the club will be Dalot at 5.1 million. Unfortunately, the United fixtures just aren't that great, and even though he's starting at wingback, hasn't been that attacking. However, the biggest question now is who should I go for between Trent as well as Timber. Could also go for Saliba instead of Timber, I can afford it. That's a different debate on its own, Saliba versus Timber. Timber has been slightly more attacking though from open play. Saliba, I would argue though, with the 2 goals in the last 2 weeks, might be the better selection as those corners have been so kind of effective. However, when you do compare Timber or Saliba to Trent, you're probably going to be coming second best, and that's why is it a no-brainer to actually go for the Liverpool fullback. Yes, there might be some rotation over the festive period, he's just come back from injury, but I do back him over some good performances. Now only slight concerns is going to be that Fulham game as well as the Spurs back-to-back. Those are 2 tough defensive games to be honest. Trent though does offer some attacking threat, probably the best defender in the game, and therefore is this a no-brainer or is this an actual debate? Would probably say that Timber has the better next few fixtures. Everton, Crystal Palace and Ipswich look very strong, whereas as mentioned, Fulham and Spurs back-to-back might not be that many clean sheets. After that though, Liverpool do have some great fixtures, which could be favourable, and I guess Trent is Trent. So you guys let me know in the comments down below, out of these 2, who would you go for, even between Timber and Saliba, who's the better option? Saliba recently definitely has the better attacking numbers. So those 2 moves for me are pretty locked in. I think they're the kind of good upgrades, and offer me a bit of a better defense. Now another move that I could do instead of a defensive upgrade is use the value from the Mbeumo downgrade to go for someone like an Isaac. Now I've kind of gone a little bit cold on the Jackson to Isaac move, especially because Jackson should be rested tonight, and Brentford at home is still a very respectable fixture. However, the value I could use is actually to upgrade Cunha to Isaac, trading both the fixtures. As you guys will see, Leicester, Ipswich, it's kind of swapped for both respective players, obviously Isaac being the better FPL asset. Now is this move worth the upgrade and avoiding my defensive upgrade? Don't exactly know, as Cunha has good fixtures for the next 2 as well. Just something though I've been pondering after seeing that Wolves performance, and I'm a little bit scared of Isaac this game week if I'm honest with you. I think currently though I am favouring a defensive upgrade to an attacking upgrade, As mentioned, Cunha still has some okay fixtures and is quite cheap. Just wanted to put this out there if there's any of you guys that are actually considering the move. I think that it could be worth it, but I do consider it to be quite luxury. Now the next transfer move I want to talk about is if we get news that Gabriel is going to miss again, and therefore I might just bench him and therefore take out Guardiola. Now obviously I do hope that Gabriel is going to be playing Everton at home, it's a great fixture, but a very real situation might be him missing out again. Now I doubt we get any news about a long-term injury, so therefore I'll probably just bench him, and therefore whichever player I don't go for out of Trent and Timber or Saliba, I could bring in for Guardiola. Now that won't be with the Isaac move unfortunately, as I don't have enough funds, but I can afford doing both defensive upgrades if need be. I think the defense then looks pretty impressive, unfortunately though, won't be getting a double up from that Arsenal defense. At least I have some coverage then with Trent and Timber both in my squad. Now the only bad thing about taking Guardiola out is that in a few weeks time, Man City have great fixtures, Everton less than West Ham. Now can I trust that defense and can I trust the rotation anyways? Probably not, and therefore going for a more secure option like a Trent or a Timber or Saliba might be more valuable. There could always be some mass rotation over the festive period which you want to avoid, and as mentioned, the Man City defense hasn't been anything to write about. But this situation will only be if Gabriel does miss out again, as I would prefer just to start him for Everton at home in Game Week 16. Now another transfer I haven't even spoken about could be a defensive goalkeeper upgrade. For example, if I took out Dalot for Timber, I could even afford an Alisson for Flecken, so could that actually be worth the upgrade? Does kind of block me out of Trent though, and that's why I would probably prefer the attacking threat. Never like to have too much of an expensive goalkeeper. But the goalkeeper department definitely is the weakest at the moment in terms of my team. Have gone off Raya though, as I would prefer one of their set piece defenders. So a ton of options this week in terms of the transfers. Unfortunately, that's what 3 free transfers does. Definitely the most likely though is the Mbeumo downgrade to either Enzo or Rodgers, and then a defensive upgrade. And then if we get news about Gabriel, might make the second defensive switch. You guys let me know what you think about all these transfer plans in the comments down below. Also share your transfer plans, and if you guys need any help. You can always join my Discord server, link in the description, slightly more active over there. Otherwise, hopefully I'll see you guys in the deadline stream coming up 1 hour before the deadline on Saturday. But this is basically a wrap for the guys. Hope you guys did enjoy it. Please like it and subscribe if you have subscribed yet. As mentioned, deadline stream 1 hour before the deadline. Make sure that you guys have your notifications on. But for the time being, I'm signing off. It's been Dayvy FPL, and I'm out. Cheers, bye.